Okay, during my time in Israel, I got a chance to do some very, very interesting things. I was in there's the city of Tel Aviv, and there's a part of now it's a part of Tel Aviv called Yafo, which is a traditionally Arab area which has been incorporated into Tel Aviv. And we walk down there. You just walk down the coast south from central Tel Aviv into Yafo at the end of Ramadan, and it was just incredible, Lewis, to see thousands and thousands of Muslims out celebrating the end of Ramadan on the beaches. Very interesting to see just a few miles south of one of the most progressive and open beach areas. Gay people as are very, very welcome and openly received in Tel Aviv. Very scantily clad men and women, just clearly super, super open. Down to the beaches in Yaffa, where you see Muslim women in full traditional Muslim attire going into the water dressed in that particular way. So close in distance, right, Lewis? I mean, we're talking about just a couple of miles here. The one incident that was a little bit off-putting that took place there is there's the old Yafo area, historical area, old structures, old buildings. Walking through there with my brother Natan and with my girlfriend, there was a group there was an Arabic family, a Muslim family that walked by who looked at my girlfriend, who was dressed in a way that would not raise any eyebrows, Lewis, in the United States. And as we walked by, they made this disgusted sort of look, a kind of, ugh, and said something that I couldn't understand in Arabic, very displeased with how she was dressed around those monuments that we were visiting. And something similar actually happened when we went to Jerusalem. There's a very long history of whether non-Muslims are allowed to go to the Temple Mount. The Temple Mount, of course, this area in the Muslim quarter of the old city of Jerusalem, right? So we're talking about a controversial and disputed area with another controversial and disputed area within a bigger controversial and disputed area of Jerusalem. Over time, there have been different moments where non-Muslims could not go to the Temple Mount and where they could. Long story short, now non-Muslims can go to the Temple Mount. I think it's between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. and then between 1:30 and 2:30 p.m. We went at 1:30 p.m. and we were allowed to go into the Temple Mount onto the Temple Mount. And when we entered, I was wearing shorts and I was told I'm not allowed to wear shorts there. So I had to purchase for 25 shekels, which is about $8 or $9 US. I guess I would call it kind of like a piece of fabric. You might call it a sheet. You might call it a skirt. I don't know exactly what to call it, that I had to wrap around my legs. Now, unfortunately, this piece of fabric was no longer than my shorts. So my legs were still exposed, Lewis, if you understand what I'm saying, as the picture that we have up here of me with former TV director Natan Show. And as we were walking around there was again a young group of Muslim men who were very clearly talking about how I think they felt I was being disrespectful by how I was wearing this piece of attire. I really was doing the best I could to be respectful of what was expected of me, but I was handed something, Lewis, that did not cover any more of my legs than the shorts I was already wearing. And I have to admit, it made me very uncomfortable that I was seen as being disrespectful.
Yeah, well, at the same time, I'm sure that they are probably really sick of the tourists and everyone that they see on a regular basis.
Maybe so.
So that probably added to it.
I was a little bit shocked given the holy nature of the Temple Mount area, at how a lot of people were being sort of disrespectful to the area in terms of, I saw two different families that were clearly there, it was their religious place, throwing dirty diapers on the ground, just on the floor at the Temple Mount, in spite of the fact that there were trash cans everywhere. There were a lot of people littering, and I was stunned because when you see that pristine gold-plated dome in the pictures, Lewis, you sort of assume this is such a holy place that it's going to be very, very clean. But in fact, multiple people I saw just leaving dirty diapers on the ground.
Hmm. Yeah, when I was there, we were told not to go over there. I'm not sure what the rules were at that time. So unfortunately, I did not get to see that.
I
But
think the rules were similar when you were there, but it is considered it's just outside the Temple Mount area. It is filled with Israeli military. There was an incident once where someone kind of went nuts and started destroying our old artifacts there. But for the most part, it's considered, although it's rare that there's any kind of security incidents. I don't know that birthright trips, which is what you were on, would necessarily do that and go to the Temple Mount because I think it's considered a little bit more risky.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were just told to stay in the Jewish quarter, and so we did.